Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are focusing on the rig by Petzl. Now we've already done the Petzl Id and the Petzl Evac and the Sparrow by Climbing Technology. So today we're going to do the rig. We're going to focus a little bit of attention on some of the safety features that the ID has that the rig does not, and I think they're pretty important information. So without further ado, let's get Trevor up on the ropes and we'll get through the basic rope maneuvers. So we're going to show you the safety features between the Petzl ID and the rig. Okay, you'll see just the general size itself, the ID is a little larger. Okay, when you open it up, the ID has this safety catch here where the rig does not. Now I'll rig it in and I'll show you what that actually does. Okay, I'll leave the gate open for demonstration purposes. If I rig this in backwards like this, and now I start to descend, okay, that safety catch will bite the rope and not allow my rope to travel through, so I can't descend, okay? So that's what the safety catch does on the ID. Now let's go to the rig. So close this, just because mine won't catch.
So I've rigged my rope in backwards. So the first thing you notice is I can't pull slack up like I typically would. And if I were to load this, the rope can free fall or free spool through the device.
Okay, so that's the safety feature on the ID that the rig does not have. So that's very important. Now we'll rig them in properly, and I'll show you the panic feature built into the ID as well. Okay, so as you're descending, okay, and by some reason you start to panic and you pull on that handle, okay, it'll cancel and it'll just automatically lock like that, okay, until you reset the handle and carry on. Okay, now let's go to the rig.
If we go to the rig, it operates the exact same with the handle, but there's no panic. So if a user, whether it's a student or tech, uses it and they pull all the way, you just continue to fall.
Okay, so we feel these are pretty important details to let you guys aware of if you're deciding on a Petzl ID or a rig. Okay, so now we got that out of the way, we're going into our next category, which is hauling and lowering. So we're going to use the rig in the haul lower situation, and we're going to see how much resistance it has as we haul up. All set?
Let's do it.
So just hauling with this one, we noticed that it's a little bit more higher reading. We went up to like 70 foot-pounds to overcome the friction inside here. And we're thinking it's because of the diameter of the overall cam inside the device. The rig is a little smaller, so you got a little bit more friction in there to overcome it. So I think that's one downfall that the rig has over the ID, is a little bit more effort is needed in order to haul. So right now we're prepared to lower, and we're gonna lower a little bit, and then we're gonna go full handle to show you that there is no panic feature in this, and we're going to see how that affects our load if it's going to do a quick drop, and if our ASAP will catch it before the dummy hits the ground. We're at about 10 feet right now. All right, so let's get ready to lower, and we'll go from there.
Lowering. So there's the start. So if I go all the way back. So our ASAP did its job, and our dummy didn't splat, so that's good. But definitely that's a feature that the ID has over the rig when you're choosing the device you're going to use. Is someone running this that is inexperienced could very easily panic for whatever reason, pull it back all the way, and even worst case scenario, if they're not maintaining their braking side, we could have a definite event. We're good. The carabiner there. Patient's main. Second point. 2. Rope maintenance. So I can lower my patient onto me. That clear. Strip my patient's play device. So the one difference between the ID and the rig also is this doesn't have the friction horn. So I have to use my friction beaner. A couple different places I can put it on my side D-ring. I prefer it here myself, and then I feel it keeps everything a little bit cleaner, and it also, if you can see, it also kind of makes sure that the rope tracks over the wear bar as well. All right, so make sure my ropes are clear. And we'll go down. Rescue dummy is safe. One thing for sure I noticed right away, again like we discussed when we did the hauling and lowering, is especially with a 2-person load on the rig, without that anti-panic device, catch, pardon me, you can go very quickly. So if you have a 2-person load, it's definitely something to think about.
All right, so let's do our breakdown here for the rig. So for basic rope maneuvers, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great device. It's kind of a descender in my mind. Big on industry. Fire service, I don't see them getting into it. So, but as far as basic rope maneuvers, I'm going to give it a 3, I would say. 3? Yeah, okay. I would say it was good. It's not great, but it's not crap, so.
It is kind of focused more towards the rope access industry, and again, more towards experienced operators, because it does lack a lot of the safety features that the ID has, so yeah. Hauling and lowering.
This is a tough one. Like we discussed, with lowering, there's a little more friction, or pardon me, with hauling, there's a little more friction. And lowering, we saw that if you're inexperienced or you're not good on it, you can cause an event. So.
Yeah, there is a risk of dropping your load too fast, engaging the ASAP, which is the two devices that you don't want to lower onto, especially in a rescue scenario. So you want to minimize those dynamic forces in there. So
yeah, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go with a 2. Can I go with a 2?
2. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, in a pinch, if you needed to and you had to get your patient down, it works. It's efficient, but it's a higher skill set that you have to operate it, and there is that. I don't like the idea that if someone panics, you can cause that force.
Cool. Okay, fair enough. 2-person rescue load. You did the rescue. How do you like it?
You know what? It works great with the 2-person rescue. I mentioned when we were up there, it doesn't have the friction horn on it, but I've only used it on the new IDs anyways that way, so there's no real difference. I like it for the 2-person rescue load. Yeah. Now again, the drawback would be that if I panicked and pulled all the way, that I'm going down fast.
Yeah.
Right. And the very last thing you want to do is, you know, rappel fast enough that your ASAP catches, especially with a 2-person load, because then that's a whole other can of worms.
So you got to make sure you have either the friction horn or the friction carabiner, which you're supposed to do anyway on any type of rescue, but definitely you don't want to overlook that if you're on a rig.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we'll give that a 3?
I would say a 3, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they all kind of have the same issue in my mind, is just without having that anti-panic feature, you really have to pay attention. That's kind of the overall functionality, I guess I would say.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, for the overall functionality then?
I'm going to go with a 3. It's a great device, but...
It does have a lot of drawbacks, and the safety features in it. Definitely more for a rigging and an experienced operator who's just moving around on the ropes. But for rescue, 3, I would say. It's good, but it's not great.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, price and availability. $195 US. Okay, Canadian, that is $265. Now, this price is on the gold one, the standard one that you get. If you do want the black one that we were using in the demonstration, all black stuff from Petzl, you think about adding 20 bucks. I don't know why, I guess black dye costs a little bit more, but all right.
Cooler.
Price and availability. Most shops, again, just like the ID, will probably have these in stock. We here at Pegasus always have them in stock. So I would say availability is really good, but if we need to order it, they do come from Utah, just like the ID and everything. So it will take about 7 to 10 days, again, if we have to order one.
This is something too, I think that we touched on with the ID, is a lot of shops that deal with rope access will have a lot of these in stock because it is a pretty popular
It is a very common device. And mainly too because of this, the price. Okay, these devices, a lot of guys are doing a lot of work on rope, especially in rope access. They'll go through these devices in probably like 3 months. So if you've got to change out a really expensive device every 3 months, it's not cost effective. Where the rig is a little bit less expensive than, it's actually over $100 cheaper than the ID. So you think about that as a company, it's probably a good solution for a lot of rope access companies to get you guys more experienced on the rig than the ID. Okay, so that's our conclusion of the rig. I hope you liked it. If you do, make sure to subscribe. Make sure also to leave your comments below so we can see if there's anything else you guys would like to see. We'll be happy to get to it. So thanks again, and we'll see you guys on the next one.